Okay, folks, we've got my good friend Ray Churnside up here. This is the first stage of the day, and Ray's a pro shooter, pro sponsored shooter. Do not miss it. Hoo-wee, ladies and gentlemen, that man has some wheels. Hey everybody, and welcome to Brother Mike's Outdoor Adventures. And I'm Mike Holland, and I'm here with Ray Churnside today. And Ray Churnside is a buddy of mine that I've been shooting with for better than 10 years. And it has been an absolute pleasure shooting with Ray. He's a good friend of mine. I learn a lot from Ray, and I watch him every time he steps up to the line. So, Ray, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got started in three gun?
So, little weird story. I had never fired a center fire pistol or rifle until I turned 40 years old.
Wow.
And we were on one of our Facebook groups, had a action shoot, and I was sick of shooting behind at a static line at the gun range. And somebody invited me out. It was an action shooting match where I needed to have a holster and I needed to have magazines. I'd never had that before. I'd only had 2 guns, and it just got me. We had so much fun. The action of it, just growing up playing baseball and football and being athletic, was what I really enjoyed. And then all of a sudden now you can combine that with shooting, and it grabbed me.
You know, I was going to ask you actually if you were an athlete and then you participated in other sports, because obviously the way you buzz around here on the range, it really did look like you had been involved in other sports. You said baseball and what else?
Baseball, football, taekwondo when I was a kid, all the way through high school. And then
I was going to say running back, because you look like you just like run with authority.
Mike, I really wish when I was a junior, I was on the varsity as a cornerback, and the coach for JV asked if I'd be willing to come down to JV and be a running back. And at the time, there was just too much personal pride. And then once I got into adulthood, I was doing competitive softball, and we were doing paintball on the weekends. That's what kind of got me into getting my first gun, was paintball. And it was a stupid thing as you get to be an adult. I tore an Achilles, wasn't stretching right. And then after I healed from the Achilles, that's when I first started shooting. And I was like, oh, this is fun. Let's do this.
Well, I mean, you grabbed both reins and you were all in. And from that point on, you just continually, progressively got better and better and surpassed so many others in the sport. I mean, I see, like the shirt that you're wearing, you've got all kinds of names of different manufacturers, equipment manufacturers. And are you currently sponsored by anybody or endorsed by anybody? Who's that?
So the oldest scope company in the world is a company called Collis. They're out of Austria. They're owned by Swarovski. So I represent them on the scope side. Elfman Tactical, they make triggers. They're out of Arizona, great company. Criterion barrels. I've always had Criterion barrels when I started to build my own ARs. And so they were really nice and helped provide some support on the rifle side, as well as getting me ready for one of the world shoots. And the same thing with Gibbs Arms. They're a company out of Arizona that they build a specific side charger in the AR world. And Gibbs being a side charger, I could put it up on the table and it propped up, made it a lot easier. And they've always been supportive. So I always try to take care of the companies that have been nice and have been kind to me.
Well, just as a sidebar, I run a Criterion barrel in my rifle.
Yep.
I had a JP when I first built it, and I don't even know how many tens of thousands of rounds I probably put through it, but I shot it out.
Yep.
And so just the price point of Criterion and the quality and the price point marry up so nicely. And so I have an 18-inch barrel. I run an 18 in my competition AR. And I have had zero problems with it. It just runs beautifully. It doesn't overheat and holds at zero. So I couldn't be more pleased with my Criterion barrel.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, one of the things that you guys, like, I'm a monthly match guy. A lot of the local matches that I shoot in the Florida area, and also up in Pittsburgh, I did that as well for a couple years. Occasionally a major will travel just for fun with a group of guys. But Ray here is regularly on the road shooting major matches, representing his vendors, and also networking within the shooting world, right? The shooting sports world is actually smaller than you might think, right? Everywhere you go, you're running into friends, correct?
100%.
Jeremy, give me a play-by-play!
I don't think fast enough. My brain's like, hold on, quick.
No, I'll give you a play-by-play. I've got a really great stage plan. Come up with the perfect stage plan, get up there, as soon as the beep happens, forget it all.
100%. And that's one of the camaraderie in that community is what's kept me as involved and active as I have been. The sad part is as we're starting to grow with society and you're building houses, especially in Florida, you're losing a lot of location where you can go out and shoot because, you know, if you're sitting next to a development, those people don't want to hear rifles and shotguns going off all day. So, you know,
Say it isn't so.
I know, it's sad. But last year I did, when I went back and looked, it was 42 matches out of 52 weeks.
Wow.
So,
And how often do you think you're on the road hitting a match?
so there's now the sad part is you're probably only dealing with about 9 or 10 majors.
Yeah.
Year. So about a little less than once a month. They have a tendency to take a break in like July, August, just because of heat in a lot of places. And then in November, December, January, up north, you won't have any majors because of the cold weather, but we have them down south. And so that's what kind of keeps me going. Last year, I was lucky enough to be part of the delegation that went over to Finland for the World Rifle.
That's fantastic.
The next one's in Mongolia. That's what I'm really excited about. Hopefully my wife will support it and go with me because Mongolia is pretty far to go. But
And is that like a full week or a few day event?
You got 7 days of shooting. They'll typically be about 35 stages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then traveling with your guns and all that stuff. I mean, because they have all kinds of rules in Europe.
Oh, that is a whole nother thing. You got to make sure where your layover is, that you don't leave the airport. If you leave the airport, you might be spending the next 6 months in that country.
Wow.
If you make a mistake, yeah. Like we had to learn, if you're flying, just happen to fly into London, a lot of flights had you changing airports, and that was a no-no. So we had to help be tour guides for a couple people that already booked tickets. Like, no, you can't do that. We need to do this.
Right.
And they're like, why? I'm like, well, unless you really want to start eating some bangers and mash. And that's what I've always liked about 3-gun. And you're challenged with all 3 guns typically. So if a USPSA guy comes out, he can be really good. And then once he gets the shotgun, he kind of slows down. So everything has a tendency to balance out. You'll find different things that you will be gravitated more toward, where a lot of our favorite matches, and Mike will speak to it, where we can have options.
Yeah,
so
choice.
That's the cool thing with 3-gun is because a lot of the match directors can put some stuff out there that 5 people are going to run it 5 different ways.
Yeah, that's a key point. A good stage designer can create stages that will, and then provide choice in the stage brief of the way you can shoot that stage so that you can play to your strengths. If you're a hot pistol guy, you can use pistol more on the stage, the same with rifle or shotgun. And some of the things that we don't see as much, but we did used to see it, is that we used to do things like we would stagger our birdshot and slugs in our shotgun magazine tubes. And we had, because we were being given the option to neutralize paper with slug, rifle, or pistol. And that added an incredible dynamic. And I'm still hopeful that we'll begin to see that come back to 3-gun. Whether or not we will or not remains to be seen. But choice is a lot of fun because you want to be able to step in there and not have to run the stage the same as 5 or 6 other guys or everybody else on your squad. See, because like if Ray and I have to run the stage the same way, Ray is so much faster on his feet than I am that there is absolutely no way that I'm going to come close to my time with Ray. However, if we are given the option to use slugs in our shotgun and I don't have to change guns, I might close that gap some with choice on a stage. So I'm really hopeful that we'll begin to see choice again appear in 3-gun.
I will tell you, I remember the days where you'd actually have a piece of cardboard out and you'd have everything lined out with all the rounds, and you're okay, if I miss this target, I got an extra one over here. And yeah, it was definitely that's the other thing with 3-gun, because you do have all 3 guns. You sometimes, when you try to get to that next level, it does become a little bit more on the mental side. So there's a good mental challenge. That's one of the things that have really made me gravitate toward 3-gun over some of the other sports. You know, there's some of the times like the PRS guys that have to sit out there with all the temperature and environmental components. But again, most of their stuff, it's positional and they're standing still. We get that in 3-gun. Right now, there are 6 matches that I shoot in the year that will go out to 700 yards. And that's with a battle rifle, you know, that I'm running around in a bay like this from one moment, and then we're going out to 700 yards, 750 the next. So it's that, I think 3-gun truly tests also a lot of the components.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about mil spec. Give me something that's 3-gun spec, because when Mike edits some of the video into here, you're going to see some crazy stuff where we're just throwing stuff on the ground and moving and running. And it definitely puts some stress on the equipment.
Yeah, transitioning, dumping into barrels, throwing your equipment on platforms. I mean, we do not treat it kindly. And yeah, I mean, and one of the most, like, you got to have a decent optic that's going to hold up to being banged around and then hold a 0, right? I mean, 100%. And don't think that, you know, Ray is an incredible athlete. He's very quick on his feet. He's very agile. But if you're somebody out there that may not move as quickly, that doesn't mean that 3-gun's not for you. Don't think for 1 second that you can't get up off the couch and listen, if you can walk, you can shoot 3-gun. Get out here and enjoy yourself. Ray, you got anything to add before we close up?
See if you have fun. Get out there with us.
Yeah, come on out, enjoy yourself. Find a local 3-gun match in your area. But everybody, thank you so much for watching Brother Mike's Outdoor Adventures. Be blessed, and we'll see you on the next one. You got it, brother.
Easy cheesy. My turn. Oh yeah, no. Not that guy.